Hi, I'm MAdrid. In my English class, I was assigned to a discovery project of my interest. I have a long time been interested in climate change and its effects on food security. Now, I have the opportunity to interview Mr. Mariano Jimenez, who is former Secretary of Agriculture and currently leading the technical unit of National Food Security in charge of public policy and multi-sector coordination of a food security-related projects. Hi, Mariana. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Climate change has become an important topic after three hurricanes impact the Caribbean at the same time, severely affecting the regions of food supplies. What do you think are the effects of the climate change in our nation?
Well, climate change is a phenomenon that is already in the world. There are five pillars of food security, which is availability, access, production, consumption, utilization. If any of this is affected by climate change, then you have a stop in the chains of food supply, which leads to food insecurity. That's what is happening as is happening right now with the hurricanes and in the matter of the drought and the earthquake that is happening in Mexico. So we have to deal with this reality in Honduras and the rest of the world.
So, if this is affecting our country, which government authority are responsible for the climate change project?
Well, first, the President of Honduras has developed a program that is focused on resolving this problem, especially in the case of the drought. We have the Natural Resources Ministry, the Secretary of Agriculture, the Health and Education Ministry, all working towards solving this problem. This project is, this group of people is led by the Secretary of the Government, trying to focus an integral solution for the problem.
And as we can see, all the secretaries are involved, right? So how is the government doing, or what is doing for find a solution for the drought caused by the climate change?
Well, we have been working in several areas. One, and I think that the presidential program for harvesting water is one of the projects that we have developed, especially in the dry corridor area. This program tries to focus on resource and funding to develop the ponds and the reservoirs needed for harvesting water. The problem that we've been facing in the last 3 years is that the amount of water that comes as a rain sometimes is less, sometimes double that it is used to. Having no floods or droughts. In the case of San Pedro Sula, last 2 days ago, there was a rain that flooded all the streets. In case of the hurricane that we've seen in the Caribbean, you see Puerto Rico is with food insecurity because they don't have any roads, electricity, or water. So this is what happens when the climate change hits a community. It stops the flow of food, and then the whole community comes to have insecurity. Now, this is happening when we have flood or when you have drought. Of course, flood, when you have a hurricane, is very easy to see because its amount of water is big. The meteorological system tells you there's a lot of water coming. When you have a drought, it's different because the drought you don't see the water. You don't see nothing happening, but the people in their areas are starving because they don't have enough food or enough water to feed their crops.
So we know that the climate change is affecting such as foods and in droughts. But for example, when we have droughts, you say that we don't see it. But sometimes we have rain and we have foods. So what does the idea of the reservoirs come from?
Well, since ancient times, the human being has been working with reservoirs of water. You see that the ancient Egyptians or the Romans created big aqueducts that still work in Europe. So the idea is how you hold the water that comes from the as a form of rain, and you hold that water and then you transport that water to different communities. In the case of the ancient Egyptians and Romans, you have kilometers and kilometers of aqueducts where the water comes from. Now we don't use aqueducts, we use pipes. But it's the same principle. How you transfer water from point A to point B. How you hold water when it rains in a reservoir that holds us water, and then you transfer the water to a community or to a place where they don't have enough water.
So if we know that these reservoirs, this idea comes from ancient times, how or when did the project start in our country?
Okay, 3 years ago in the last 2 years we have had, with the exception of this year, in the last 2 years we have had drought areas in Honduras, mainly in what we call the dry corridor, which is Comayagua, Francisco Morazán, El Paraíso, Iquibucal, Lempira, Copán, and areas of Santa Barbara. These areas has enough water. So the idea was, instead of bring food to these people, which is what we normally do, let's try to figure out how we can help them to harvest the water that rains, even if it's a small amount. Harvest and put it in a reservoir, and then use that water to finish the crops. Because sometimes it is not that it's no rain, but the cycle of the rain is not enough for the people to finish and harvest the crops. In other words, if you need 90 days of water, you just have 40 days or 30 days. Then what the idea is that this reservoir hold this water, and then you can finish and put the water that it doesn't come as a rain, put it as an irrigation system, and then finish the crop they need, especially basic grain, which is maize and beans.
Okay, so we know that all the secretaries of the government is involved, right? Secretary of Education, Health, infrastructure, all that. Is the government giving the funds, or is an international organization giving the funds to make real this project?
Okay, well, this project is being funded by different parts. One is the Honduran government, the other one is the European Union government, USAID, and the World Bank. So the idea is that these funds are located in this vast area and try to figure out how we can build reservoirs through a system. And once the reservoirs are built and the water is there, how can we take this water and put it as an irrigation system to help the communities around?
So we know what does it work, but how can you determine where does these lagoons or reservoirs will be built?
Okay, first you have to have an analysis, a technical analysis. Technical analysis is environmental analysis, engineering analysis, to tell us if this is a physical and technical feasibility that the reservoir is going to work. In other words, how high it is. We'd rather have irrigation through the water coming as a free flow, not using pumps, just gravitational water, the difference of levels. In other words, we have to look for a reservoir that is in a high place so we can hold the water and then bring it to gravity to lines of irrigation. Once we have the technical analysis, we go and do an analysis of the community. All these people are going to be organized. But at the end, they're going to have a reservoir that will be directed to different people, different families. How they're going to meet, how they're going to manage the reservoir, how they organize themselves. Sometimes we do this through rural systems of financing. There are small finances for them. But the idea is, once you have the technical, then you have the community-based organization, and then you have the legal analysis, which means the tenure of the land, sometimes the pipes are going to go through different owners of the land. How are you going to fix that? How long this permit for transportation of the water is going to do? So there's a lot of legal analysis that has to do. So these are the three basics that we have to do. And then, once all this is solved, then we start working with the machines, with the funding, and we hope that, and we are expecting that the community that have the benefit of this will give us labor and some of the aid, so they create a belonging from themselves of this reservoir. Because the idea is that the reservoir lasts 34 years. So we have to have these three phases, and we finally build the reservoir.
So it's this process where you will build is from three steps, right? So I want to know, how does it work? How does the reservoir work?
Well, the reservoir is really a mechanical system in the sense that once you build the reservoir, you hold the water, then you put the pipes and develop the different lots where you're going to irrigate. The idea here is that if the chemical design is good, the water will flow and you're going to have irrigation. The most important thing is how you organize the community, because this is something that is being managed by the community. So I think that if you ask me where's the key of this is to find a group of people that really wants to have a reservoir and will take care of the reservoir and the maintenance of the reservoir in the coming years. So this is, to me, the most important thing. The reservoir, once it's built, and you have the pipe and you have the water is going to flow because it's a gravitational force. But then you have to organize the people, what they're going to, what the crop they're going to plant, how they're going to handle the amount of water, how you're going to maintain the reservoir. So there's some other things that have to be developed with the community. So the main analysis to me, once you have the technical and legal, is how you're going to manage, how you're going to have the technical assistance, where you're going to plant, where you're going to sell, and all that.
So you're saying me that this project will be built in the dry corridor, right?
Yeah.
So specifically, where has the project been developed? In what communities?
Okay, so far we have built reservoirs in Olancho, we have built reservoirs here very close to the school in Tatumbla, we have built reservoirs in Santa Barbara, in Lempira, in Copan, in different areas, and they are working. The process is being developed since last year. We expect that once we have the first 2 years of the project coming and see how people is handling this, we can impact more families. We think that we can have 5 more years of this project at least, and the idea is that eventually it will become a permanent program in Honduras.
So you say that this dry corridor cycle is about some departments of Honduras, right? And it will be built in all the country. So in how many communities do you expect this project will be impacted?
Well, the target of the families that we think will be helped in this project is around 56,000 families, about 250,000 people, especially poor families that live with subsistence agriculture that live in a right corridor. The idea is that if we can fix this there, the rest of the country will be easier because we have better land and other things that can help us. But the idea right now is the target is 56,000 families that can be helped and targeted by this project.
Okay. So, in conclusion, we know that the climate change is affecting the 5 pillars of food security. And in our area, it's affecting more the availability and stability of the food. The climate change is not also about drugs, it's also about food, and it's impacting in all the dry corridor sector of Honduras that it's about the Olancho, Tatumbla, Santa Barbara, Costa Rica, Lempira, and we know that these reservoirs are built not only with the funds of the organization but also with the labor of the citizens in these communities. So thank you, Mariana.
Okay.
I learned a lot of this, and it was interesting. It was very interesting about this new project here in Honduras. So thank you.
Okay.